Hey guys, welcome back. Beautiful day out here again today, and I'm loving it because that means I can get out and enjoy the sawmill and, well, not have to look outside and worry about getting hit by lightning. Check out one of my previous videos if you want to know what that's about. Right here's my sawmill. That's what we're doing today. Last time I got talking way too much, telling you guys about all the little things I do to check this out every month to make sure it remains in good operation. Today I'm not going to be doing that. All I'm going to do is put on a new blade before we start, tension it up, and then we're going to get down to work and actually cut some siding. This right here is red pine from the red pine forest, as you see all around you. This is what we need to make into some siding, and this siding is going to be for the equipment shed. I am doing board and batten siding just because it matches my shop, which is right across from it. Check out that video if you want to see the equipment shed be built, because I think that's a really good project and one that I've enjoyed. So let's get down to work, stop talking, get a blade on. I got lots of sludge. Unfortunately, the coated dog is not here with me today. He is back at home, but he didn't want to come out because of the bugs. We'll fight him off nonetheless for him. Let's get down to work. All right. Get that off there. You guys can see a little bit of surface rust there. I think I talked about this before, but a little bit of water leaked out of the lubrication tank, and as a result, with the soap in it, it caused a little bit of surface rust as it sat. Not going to hurt anything. Okay. Next blade coming up, and you guys have a little look-see. I don't know if you can see it. We look right in there. If you look in the gullet, you guys see how it's nice and shiny? This thing feels like a razor. I recently sharpened this up, and I used my sharpener to do so and setter. I think I got a good set on those teeth here, and certainly feels like it's going to do some good cutting. Let's try not to dull it up before we get it in there. I think we're good. We'll just add a bit of tension, just a little bit. And if you haven't done this before, all I'm feeling for is the back of the blade flush with the back of these cast iron wheels. And I feel in more than one location, usually down here somewhere and then up here. And I do that on both wheels. That just makes it so it's in the right position before I fully tension it. I think we're in good position there, so I'm going to tension this thing up and spin her by hand. I know some of you guys out there have a different model of sawmill. Mine right here is a 2017 model. I've had it for almost 3.5 years. It calls for a torque setting of 25 foot-pounds. Let me pay attention here so I get it right. 25 foot-pounds. Okay. You guys ever have work gloves where they probably should have been thrown out about a year ago? Look at that tape job. Beautiful. Okay. All I'm doing here is I'm watching the blade. And you guys might be able to see this if we jump down here. I probably rotated it, I don't know, 1/4 of a turn. And you guys see here how the blade has crept forward. I have to be careful there. If I keep turning it, that blade will likely jump off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around just a little bit more, just in case that corrects itself and goes back in where it should be. And you guys see here, see how the blade is still too far out this way? And if you were to take your hand and run it along the back, it would verify that. So I'm going to make some adjustments now to move that saw blade back just a little bit on this band wheel. So in my manual, it calls for 1 rotation of the handle. So you take off tension with 1 rotation of the handle, and you'll see up here, I've got the adjustments for the band wheel that follows the driven wheel. I wrote right on here, clockwise moves rearward. So that means it moves the blade rearward, which is what we need. And so I'm going to go about a quarter turn. So let's get that tightened up. Quarter turn, we'll start right there, and I'm going to go to about there. Let me make sure I'm going clockwise though. That was counterclockwise. We're going this way. So let's go like this. And we'll go right to about there. Snug her up and tension it with my torque wrench. Okay, try her again. All right, let's hope this blade goes back. And you'll notice it has moved just a little, not quite enough. So let's do it one more time here. And I already took one rotation of tension off the blade. All right. That's looking better. I think we got her. And I'm just going around a few times looking down there to make sure that one's set. Making sure this one's set. And I think we got it. Let's do some cutting. Kind of a Mickey Mouse start. Yeah. That little one I just had lying around, I wasn't going to cut it. I got it here. What the heck, eh? This time around in the lubrication tank, I put Pine Sol, like some of you guys suggested, instead of dish soap. So warm water, Pine Sol, probably about a cap or so of Pine Sol for this this jug of water up here. So we'll see how that cuts. These red pine here are going to be very pitchy. These were just cut down live not that long ago, about a week ago. So let's fire this up and give this a cut. I, just like you guys, am not immune to the blades malfunctioning or popping off. Did you guys hear that? Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. We got two nice 2x4s cut, and as I was going, you guys could hear the bang sound. That's the dreaded blade jumping off. I don't know what happened there. Keep in mind, this is new lubrication. I've never used Pine Sol and water before. I'm hoping that's not the issue. I guess we'll find out. Okay, here we go. Is it broken? I don't know. It's not a brand new blade. I've sharpened it before. Oh. Hey, it just jumped off. The real question is, why did it jump off? And I think some of you guys at home are probably saying, hey, he's just like me. I am just like you. I just cut wood and film it. I don't know what the issue is. Everything seems fine. Well, I can feel a bit of pitch on that, what do you call it there? Like quite a bit actually compared to normal. I'm assuming that's from cutting the red pine, but I cut a lot of red pine, so not sure what the deal is there. Let's just clean this off here a bit. That's actually pretty clean. See the belt there? I'm just spinning it. You guys can see it's pretty clean. There's no dust or anything on there. Let's look over here. The belt is sticking up above the cast wheel, which is what we want. I don't see an issue here. I don't know what the issue is. I guess the only thing we can do is put it back on and hope for the best. Here we go. Nice 3/4 inch piece by 6 inch. All right, guys, well, we got a few pieces here cut, and you guys can see here we got it's 3/4 of an inch thick by 6 inches wide, and I think that's going to do quite well for the board and batten siding on the equipment shed. Now you're probably noticing there are the odd line here. See how there's a horizontal line? What that is, probably when the blade jumped off there, it probably just nicked one of the teeth, and so it got knocked out of set, and so it's making just that little bit of a chatter on the board. Don't think that'll be an issue. Obviously it's rough sawn lumber and it's going on a rough looking outbuilding, so I think that'll be just fine. Might even make it look kind of neat. Anyways, we got a few pieces here, and I think the majority of the logs that I cut, you guys can see here, I think the majority of it will get about 6-inch wide material. For me, it's not going to really matter whether it's 6 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches, 4 inches, doesn't really matter, as long as it's well cut to a board width and it's 3/4 of an inch thick. So that's what we're going to work ahead at. As you guys saw, the blade didn't jump off again. I think the first time around with that new pine sol mixture, I probably was going a little heavy on the pine sol, or meaning went a little heavy on the lubricant. I don't think I needed that much. I toned it down a little bit. In fact, I had it just going at a trickle's pace, because if you can imagine, these trees are probably about, I don't know, a week sitting here. A week prior to that, they were up in the air, obviously, and they had a whole bunch of moisture in them. So that moisture is acting as a lubricant already. By me adding that extra pine sol water mixture, I think it was too much. The blade got slippery on that belt, jumped right off. So toned it down a bit and everything seems fine. Anyways, I'm going to go put these boards into the lumber shed over here. You guys can see my beautiful boardwalk, and if you haven't been here before, I'll take you on a little stroll. This is the boardwalk. Step off it for a minute. This boardwalk was sort of an afterthought. Originally what I had intentions of was more or less just to walk off the sawmill shack onto the ground and back up into the lumber shack or lumber shed. But eventually, with the snow and everything in the winter, I decided it was much easier, much safer, much faster if I could just walk all on the same level over and deposit the lumber here, have it start to air dry before going back and cutting some more. This right here doesn't have a roof over it because this has to be removable. If you're not brand new to the channel, you guys know exactly why. We end up getting all this buildup of sawdust. I come in here with the tractor. In order to get in there with the tractor, I got to drive in there, and I don't think we're going to weasel our way through those trees over there, so I have to make my way in this way. This ends up getting moved, this boardwalk, also for snow removal. Looking up here, you guys can see that's a fairly steep pitch, and it's a steel roof. All the snow tends to shed off there, and you guys know exactly where it's going. Pretty much freezes to ice, so I got to get the tractor in with the bucket, scoop her out of there. Anyways, here's the lumber shed. Took all the lumber out of it because I was building the equipment shed with it. Now I'm going to start restacking it. On the bottom here, you can see my pieces. It more or less creates the initial air gap. Also allows me to get the forks underneath if I need to on the tractor. We're going to put the siding in here, get it air drying, as I mentioned. Once I'm down to actually putting the siding on, which hopefully is very soon, I'll come in and get it out of here. Anyways, that's what we're doing. Oof, even that's heavy. Hey guys, I'm just finishing up one of my last cuts here, and I want to point something out to you. My sawmill won't go down to 3/4 of an inch, which is what I'm cutting all the siding to. And so if you have a look here, I'm left with a board that's 1.5 inches. And so in order to get this into the 2 3/4 inch pieces that I'm looking for, what I do is I take one of the pieces of siding I already cut right there. I just put it underneath of it, and I just bring up the log stop so it's just above and onto the piece I'm going to cut. That way it gives just enough to provide backing. Now I can go ahead and cut my 3/4 inch piece by adding the other piece, which I put on the bottom, to the measurement. 3/4 inch on the bottom plus 3/4 inch on top ends up at 1.5 inch measurement on my sawmill. So I'll make one more 1.5 inch measurement, then we'll be left with the boards we need. There we go. Well guys, I think that's just about going to do it for me here today. As you just saw, I just stacked up some of the lumber we cut today. Looks pretty good sitting over there, but I think it'll look a lot better once I get about 100 pieces there, because that's how many I need for the siding on the equipment shed. That's going to take a little while and definitely a bit more cutting. So I'm going to cut you guys loose. I'm going to hang around and do a bit more cutting. On our log deck here, you can see we got a few logs on deck, and so we're going to get those cut. Maybe I won't get them done today, but we'll get a good chunk of them done. In the slab rack, it's looking pretty empty, which is great. Once that fills back up, I'll be sure to be back out here making firewood, filling up IBC cages. And in between there, I'll be doing some other stuff, and I hope you join me for that. I got all kinds of projects and ideas and things on the go around here. So if you're brand new, make sure you come on back. And if you're not, guys, thank you. You tune in every single week. Make sure you keep doing so, and I'll see you then. And one last thing, guys, before you go, if you like this video, you can help out the channel by giving it a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. See you next time.